So you gotta go.
Good morning, curling world. Welcome back to the 2022 edition of the Baden Masters. We are here in Baden in Switzerland. As always, the big kickoff for the World Curling Tour. We've got everyone here this weekend. We have so much good curling for you to see. Our featured game this morning. Two teams, first time in the competition for both of these teams. We have Team Dropkin from the US. They've travelled a long way to be with us. And we have Team Craik from Scotland. We're happy to welcome back our international guests. You may remember that we've had slightly different rosters the past couple of years with COVID restrictions and so on, but everything back to normal now. So our Scottish teams are able to travel. We've got several Scottish teams here this weekend. Lots of opportunity to see them, and for the first time in a long time, we have two teams from North America. We're watching Team Dropkin from the US, and we have Canadian team coming up later this weekend as well. So you join us in the first end of our featured game. It's not even 11 o'clock this morning, and what an exciting morning we've already had here in Baden. This is just the second round of the round robin, so first time on ice for all of these teams. That's why it just took a little bit longer to get going with the game. The teams have a practice for a little while before the start of the game to decide who has the last shot. They do last shot draw, and the 8 o'clock in the morning draw, they did that already. So we're very tight schedule today. We have 5 games of curling today, and that means 5 live streams and 5 static cams as well. So no excuse for not watching curling 24/7 for the next 3 days. You see Michaela and Megan are super fans in the chat. Welcome everyone. If you want to say hi, tell us who you're supporting this weekend, what games you're looking forward to.
Clean. Well then.
We welcome it all. So there you can see just behind Corey Dropkin's head. We'll say hello to the teams in just a second. Right behind
You guys like going right here then?
their head there.
Okay, make sure it's here.
It is the team from the US that has the hammer. That means they were closer to the centre with their last shot draw.
Okay, that's fine, Coach. Let it play.
And we'll come back to last shot draw to discuss that as well, because that could be very important.
There was still like a 13-6 here. This is a 13.
It's a very tight field out there. We've had a couple of upsets already this morning, which we'll come back to. So last shot draw could become really important if teams are tied on points and wins. And we've seen this happen in this competition even last year. It will go to the last shot draw, and that's of course it's a tough way to exit a competition. So it's not only about who gets hammer in this first end, it's also about your progress through the whole competition. So all the teams really want to be on top of that last shot draw. So let's say hi to our teams out there. Playing Redstones from all the way from the US, we have Team Corey Dropkin. Fourth and skip is Corey Dropkin. Third is Andrew Stopera. Second thrower Mark Fenner, and lead thrower Tom
like
Howell. Looking a bit glum with how their first end starting out. We have in playing Yellowstones, we have Team Craik from Scotland. Fourth and skip is James Craik. Third is Mark Watt. Second thrower Angus Bryce, and lead thrower Blair as well.
Get fresh here.
First time in Baden for both of these teams.
Make sure we're top 12.
They'll both be looking
Go
to
ahead,
make
Tom.
a bright start. You really can't afford to lose a
Keep
game
going.
here this weekend.
Head down, Tom.
Want to
Never
make
off. Never
progress
off.
in this competition.
Get the bounce off. Bounce off. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
There are so many good teams here We've got everyone. We have the Olympic gold medalists, we have the Olympic silver medalists, we have the new Swiss super team, who will be having their first outing in the next live stream.
I feel like it should carry better.
What, 13-9, 13 a few.
A lot of stones in play already in this first end. We are playing here in Baden the no-tick rule. And what that means is, if the stone in the first 5 stones, if the first 5 stones, it's the same as in free guard zone, but if the stone is touching that centre line, that line right down the middle, you are not allowed to tick it out of the way. So let's see if anybody falls foul of that. And that's because these big teams were becoming so adept at that, that we had to revisit the rules a little bit. Now that's a bit better effort from Scottish team there. That's cleared things up a little bit. Still got a bit of work to do here for Scotland. It's the Americans playing red. They're the ones with last stone in this first end, and maybe a little bit unconventional. They're playing towards the centre. You sometimes see teams playing away from the centre, but if they've got their draw weight.
Line's good.
I don't think you're in.
Line's good.
And clearly they do. They're the ones who have the last stone.
Hard, guys,
Always
go.
cooch.
Who, sorry, won the last shot draw.
Hard, boys.
And
Hard,
yeah, they're
boys.
just trying to control that centre area
Leave it now.
before Scotland can. So yeah, another good effort there.
55.
Well, this better be good, Scotland.
Not a great spot.
Then add a lot.
Rim.
Rim! Rim!
Switch. Switch and go. Switch and
You
go.
look good!
Straight line curl and go.
We have 4 teams from Scotland this weekend.
On.
We're delighted to have our
On.
Scottish friends back with us.
On.
Remember, we haven't seen them for a couple of years, and of course that was good. Great throw there from Mark Watt for Scotland. That really
Like edge dad.
getting them out of a bit of trouble. They can afford a
Space.
little half a smile for that one. That was looking a bit scary for Scotland, and that's really steadied the ship.
Clean. Yep. Clean. Yep.
Hard.
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 Clean.
Close.
Close. Close. Curl.
Team Dropkin just trying to follow that in.
Curl, Tommy.
Oh gosh, they're pretty good with this one.
Great shot.
That is a great shot.
Clean.
You can see he had to be exactly that weight. If it'd been any higher with that weight, it wouldn't have curled perfectly. And if it'd been any less weight on that, it would have curled a little bit too much. He had to be just perfect on that. And now you can see that yellow looking a little bit more vulnerable now.
Didn't curl like crazy.
Not easy,
Thought it might go a little bit more viciously,
but I think if Scotland just play something similar to what they played before, just maybe nudge up to that red stone just played by the US.
what they do.
They maybe don't have quite enough space there. The other option could be to just guard up at the moment. The US is only lying 1, and if you just plopped a guard right in front of all of that granite there in the 4-foot, and then challenge the US to get a second shot there, you can see the nice overhead there. Red is lying 1. That yellow is a little bit vulnerable there, but still lying second shot. The risk, of course, is that if the US do find a way in, then you might lose a hatful in the first end. So line is all important here in this shot.
I feel like I might go over the top and might miss. I don't know. I can't really tell.
Halfway is perfect. Easy early.
It's close.
Close. A little room.
Curl.
Curl. Curl.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Curl. Curl.
Curl.
Hard curl. Hard.
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 Whoa, 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 whoa.
Just like that. Scotland not having too many options there. They're well aware that yellow's a little bit vulnerable. They don't want to lose a big end here in the first end of this competition.
Bad, but it's a little risky for him.
And I think that's about the best he could have done. Good first throw there from James Craik.
Do we ever do this?
You could. I just don't. He might play off it too. Depends where you roll to though. But yeah, it could be a bad.
Definitely worth it for Team Dropkin to have a look at everything here.
Maybe.
And just
A lot of curling at the end for spot.
throw a circus shot if you like. It's only the first end. If there's any chance to pick up a hatful here, you may as well take it. If your worst case is scoring one, you were scoring one anyway, so you may as well have a go at it. Yeah, I quite like this, you know. I'm not sure it brings you anything. If you just go around the intern there, or the clockwise handle, so on the left of the cheetahs we're looking at it,
You like that?
I think there is space to curl a second one.
He's not going to go for. He's not going to
In,
go for
but
this, would he?
Then I think you're limiting yourself with your final stone. So I quite like the suggestion. What if we just create a bit of space here? And that'll put more pressure on Scotland.
Yeah, for sure.
If you just
The intern.
swing another stone round the clockwise handle on the left of our
Grab
screen,
the nose.
I think Scotland will say thank you very much. They'll accept they were in a bit of trouble that end and be quite happy to get away with a maximum -2. So I think this is the shot that puts a bit more pressure on Scotland and will also give you more options for your last stone. So looking to clear a bit of space here, Corey Dropkin. His first throw in this competition.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Good.
Looks pretty accurate. Very nice.
Good.
It's good. Okay.
Shot. Throw.
You can see now Scotland looking down again, having to figure out, okay, how do we avoid losing a big end here in this first end?
Yeah.
While they're having a think about things, I can tell you who else is on the ice just now.
As long as we don't leave a hole, you just need to
We
bite
have
that way.
another Scottish team, it's Ross Whyte's team, and they're playing Team
Yeah, level with
Jermann
Right.
from Switzerland.
Maybe almost
That's on
shot
sheet
anyway.
1.
I don't know if you can
Then
hit
on
this
sheets
too
3 and
bad.
4, you have the static cam, so you can join that. And sheet 3, we have Stefan Walstad
Probably
from
is
Norway
one though, isn't it?
playing Team Totzek from Germany. And on sheet 4, I advise you to keep half an eye on this one, viewers. We have Olympic gold medalists, Niklas Edin, and they're playing little Andre Schnider's team from Switzerland. And I tell you, if you've been keeping an eye on curling, you will know how dangerous this game is for Niklas
Where are
Edin.
you?
If we were to play like
Schnider's team's such fighters. They missed qualifying for the knockout stage in this competition last year by, I think it was 5 centimetres
No,
in
doesn't.
the overall last shot draw.
Just needs to stop.
And I'm sure Edin's team will be taking
It's pretty much nose
this
almost,
game
right?
extremely
A little
seriously.
high nose.
Schneider will be looking to
Yep. Kinda
get a
wait.
fast win over here. We've said it before that if you
Is there any way to hurt
are
us
going to
here?
try to beat the Olympic champions,
Like where would you have to hit it?
try and do it first thing in the morning.
There, it's still like.
My initial gut was a 10-5.
They will say themselves that, yeah, sometimes they maybe not a morning team, and I understand that, me neither.
Go intern actually. I don't think there's a way to hit us.
But yeah,
Okay.
occasionally you
Whatever
can
you see.
get a sneaky win over them in the morning, and I'm
10-5.
sure Andrew Schnider will fancy this one all day. So yeah, keep eyes on that as well, viewer. I think that will be terrific lineup.
10-5.
So, last shot here in our featured game. We're watching Team US with Corey Dropkin.
Just to the.
And they
just
are
to the
playing
right side of
Team
nose,
Craik
timing
from
side of
Scotland.
nose.
Team Scotland having to defend a little bit. The Americans having a bit the brighter start. So Scotland just trying to make it hard for the US to pick up a second point here.
Clean.
Close.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep.
Hard.
Hard.
Hard. Hard, Tom. Hard.
Close.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yes.
Great shot.
Oh, and he's got it. Really great shot from
Great shot.
Dropkin there.
Good call. That's sweet, buddy.
And just a few loose shots from Scotland there in the first few stones at that end, making it a little bit hard for the back end to tidy up. And yeah, Scotland can see this coming a mile away. Yellow to red, and squirt that yellow out just a little bit. A huge score of 3 for the Americans in the first end.
The trainer, Lucas.
Yeah. Yeah. He does. Totally.
Perfektion bedeutet nichts. Nicht, wenn du sie nicht fühlen kannst. Ich denke viel darüber nach, wie ich mich fühle, wenn ich einen Raum betrete. Stell dir vor, du betrittst deine Küche und spürst, dass dieser Ort wie für dich gemacht ist. Vielleicht wegen der klaren Linien oder der echten Materialien. Für mich ist das Perfektion.
So we're in the second end here.
Might be going tight. Might be tight.
We're at the 2022 edition of the
Mine's
Baden
good.
Masters.
Top 8.
No more restrictions. Everyone
keep
can
going.
travel pretty normally, so we welcome back our Scottish friends.
Keep it going, boys.
We welcome a couple of teams from
Keep it
North
going.
America. And we're watching 2 of those right now. We're watching Team Corey Dropkin from the US. And they are playing Team James Craik from Scotland. And there you go, look, you can see a very bright start for the US. And lead thrower for the Scottish team, Blair Haswell, he will be looking to make a nice aggressive start here. So Scotland are going to have to be all out aggressive really, which is good for us viewers. We can expect lots of stones in play.
Oh, I think I messed up. I did something I was not supposed to.
And it looks like they may have misunderstood the point of the hammer there. Someone's just corrected it, because it wasn't a steal of 3, it was the Americans who had the hammer, and gosh, they made good use of it, scoring a huge 3 in that first end. And over on the static cam on sheet 4, as we said, an intriguing little encounter going on over there.
We're all there. Tight.
We have Olympic champions
Halfway
in class
tight.
Edin playing local,
Almost
well,
in.
Swiss team, Andrew Schnider.
Lines of hair tight.
And I tell you, Schnider's team will fancy this one, and
Just gotta
they
let it
started
sit.
Go
off
short of your stick.
with a big 2 in the first end.
It's good, Tom.
So keeping half an eye on that one as well. How's everyone else getting on? Big scores everywhere. On sheet 1, we have another Scottish team playing just now their first game in this competition as well, and first time in Baden for them. That's Team Whyte, and they also picked up a big score of 3 against Team Jermann of Switzerland. And the final game out there on sheet 3, we have the familiar figure of Stefan Walstad from Norway. They are playing a new lineup. Team Todzek from Germany, a couple of changes for them. And it was Team Todzek who picked up 2 with last stone in their first end. So lots of stones in play all over the ice rink today. Good for us viewers.
You see any of it?
I don't know. You can go around
Like
and
the
tap
tap?
with a foot. Tap.
We play 8 ends here. We have 4 groups of 5 teams, starting off 20 teams. So everybody has a bye at some point.
Careful!
So we're playing 8 ends. We're playing a no tick rule
always
if your stone
Tommy.
is touching the
It's always
centre.
Tommy. Stay close, Tom.
So not quite time for Team
Go
US to
ahead
hit
now.
for home, but certainly at this level, a big score of 3 in the first end
Okay.
puts all kinds of pressure on Craig's
much
team
ice.
from Scotland.
Good throw.
The Scottish teams
hard to
haven't
make.
really been able to travel for
my God,
past
that way.
couple of years with COVID restrictions and so on. And it'll be interesting to see how they do here.
Roll it now.
I know they've been practicing plenty in Scotland against each other and at the Centre of Excellence there in Stirling in Scotland. But I don't know how much match play they've had against the teams out there. And I wonder if they
Yeah.
maybe take a little bit longer just to warm up again, get back in the competitive mood. And I'll tell you who did take a minute to get back in the competitive mood this morning. If you were not the early bird, like I am not, then you might have been rather surprised when you had finished breakfast to discover that the Olympic silver medalists, Team Mouat from Scotland, they lost on the very last stone to young Team Iseli from Switzerland.
Corner.
And what a shot that was. If
Roll in
you
the middle.
want to go back and look at the static cam for the final shot in that game,
Yeah.
it was just perfect. It was a real corker from young Iseli. So a huge upset there already. The Olympic silver medalists, Team Mouat, having a bit of a slow start here in Baden. First time in Baden for them as well. They've not been able to travel for a couple of years.
Curl! Curl! Curl!
That's tough to do.
Wow.
That sucks.
That's tough to do.
Then you can
Oh, we're in it now.
Couple guns here, Andrew.
It's hard to do.
And there was another somewhat of an upset. Team Eve Stocker.
12-5.
It's one of my little favourites. If you're a frequent flyer here in the virtual club, Team Stocker from Switzerland, they also lost their 8 o'clock game to, give me a second here,
13.
Hoestmaelingen from Norway. That's a new team from Norway. We'll be watching them later on this weekend. So a couple of upsets already.
Good sweep.
And it's only just gone 11 o'clock. And we've got 3 days of curling left.
Just Whyte.
So my advice is tune in, everyone.
Probably the best shot, but the double is there.
I think we just play the hit roll.
It just leaves up with an easy double back.
So Scotland setting up well here. They need to have good courage a little bit, Scotland. They know that the US are going to try to play towards the centre. They're going to try to leave stones out front and so on. So what Scotland are trying to do here,
Yep.
they're trying to set themselves up. They don't need to be
Yep.
lying shot after every stone.
Hard. Clean.
Oh! Whoa!
Curl. Curl. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scotland building nicely here.
Hey.
That's not good.
There's definitely space indeed, as James Craik is indicating with his bush. There's definitely space to roll underneath here,
Yeah.
or you can roll away to the
I
wing.
think
Both are
it's a lot
fine.
straighter than you think. 'Cause
I
it
don't
was
mind going under.
never wide, but it.
Sometimes when I'm helping teams, I say, you know, you throw 7 stones to set up the 8th stone, and that's going to be one of those ends here, I think, for Scotland. They're just steadily building.
Yes.
And then that's what James Craik is there for. He's there to finish it off.
Go!
Have they got the roll? They haven't.
Weight was good there. We're just playing the same thing. We get under it.
Yeah.
So what does the US want to do now?
They're just
If the US does that,
Window.
then
I don't know what else you play.
the shooter, the red that will just stick in front of that yellow just thrown, that won't really be helping them anymore. And then it will be much more straightforward to Scotland to then attack that red that's right on top of the sponsors there.
What do you
So
see?
US needs to be a little bit careful here. A few
Try to make this.
Scottish counters lying around.
How close is this to
I'm not sure I like this call.
jamming? Outturn?
I think maybe coming around the clockwise handle, so the upper part of our screen, I think maybe getting a second stone in.
Close.
Might have liked that idea better, but
Whoa, 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 whoa!
this is the call.
Good.
And what do I know? There, he's just made a raised double perfectly. Bravo, Andrew Stopera.
Call.
Good shot.
They have really come to play this
I
American
didn't think I
team.
was ever wide on it for sure.
Let's have a look at that one again. There you can see the
I saw a
shooter just rolling away,
slide, and I know you.
punching that red up and getting rid of both of those yellows. And all that good work from Scotland. They've still got that one, that yellow there on the right of our screen. That's tucked in nicely. That's difficult to remove at least.
Yes. Hide! Hide!
And looks like now Scotland deciding to attack that lone red. And they'd love to get a nice roll in behind cover here as well. They do. Nice throw from Mouat.
Well, right here.
Yeah.
Just didn't get through it.
And this now puts the pressure a little bit back on the US. So those two Scottish counters. Only problem is they're behind T-line. So that does leave a bit of space for Corey Dropkin to neutralise them.
Comfortable with this, or we like playing that? Sorry? Okay.
It looks like they're discussing either do they want to play a draw and just try and sit on top of those yellows and cancel them out,
Like the size?
or drive back,
We're not quite
the
4
red
feet,
guard.
That's pretty close.
We're thinking 14.
drive that back into those
Yeah.
two yellows. And they
Something like
just
that.
made it beautifully with the shot before. Maybe they're feeling very confident with their raised takeouts, but this is, I think this is probably the easier shot, is to play more like a T-weight and just try to neutralise those yellows. Doesn't need to move them, he just needs to be
Like my second draw.
better.
We don't need to be all the way back to them. Even if we're full weight, but it's out cutting that back one.
First throw in the second end for Corey Dropkin. Important shot here. Scotland have really
Line's
picked themselves
okay.
up in the
All
second end.
Line's good.
Done a lot of good work,
Go ahead,
and they're
boys.
currently lying
Line's
2,
good. You
but
got
they are
room.
behind T.
It's Tom. Line's really good. It's Cooch now. Lock it on. Line's great. Line's great.
Sounds like everyone likes it.
Sit. Good.
That's pretty good. Difficult for Scotland to move that red
judge.
completely.
It's got some pretty good glide to it.
That's a nice angle there. You can see that there's definitely space to come around to that red, but to move that red such that you can bring the other two yellows back into play, not so straightforward, I think. So good result there for the US,
That glid a lot better than I thought it was going to.
really neutralising the good work from the Scottish team in this second end.
No, I thought thought it would kind of get a little more finishing there sooner.
What'd you get for time?
14-2.
Even if
I
you press
really
like that,
thought.
Yep.
we're like one. Not the end of the world. Yeah. Ideally, you get hair inside nose, but nose isn't terrible.
Pretty good with this.
Thought maybe you see like touch tight,
Yeah.
but it was never that big of an issue.
Once that touch tight, the release is helpful.
Yeah. I think if you throw it straight at range pretty nice, so it's like easier to be tight than it is to be wide here.
Three stones left to come then. Two for Scotland with the all-important last stone here in the second end. First throw for James Craik in this second end, excuse me.
Edge to edge? Or like season edge, I mean?
Whoa.
You think he's season edge?
Not a huge weight as we thought.
Whoa.
He needs this stone to
Yep.
curl as much as it can, really.
Yes. Whoa.
He needs to just sneak around that guard. They have. How much of that red can he move?
Okay.
I think that was about as good as he could have done. As we said, the US played a really nice stone in there. Made it very difficult for Scotland to move it, so I think that was about as good as they could have done. That was a really nice throw from James Craik.
Straight, I think, right?
That's why I didn't quite curl as much, so like that for space.
Yeah, it's probably close.
Yeah, that's alright.
I like that.
But I think there is a little bit of space
Space, wait. Space.
to squirt that yellow
The inside.
out the other side. It looks like he's thinking of throwing some weight at
You
this.
guys like that ice?
I'm not sure if they're just going for the double takeout. Just remove the yellow and the red, and then the shooter will sit there.
A fresh-ish one. Team what?
Or whether he's just trying to pick that yellow clean. So final throw in the second end for Corey Dropkin.
Clean!
Go ahead.
Yep!
Hard.
Yes!
Hard cooch. Hard cooch.
Hard!
Hard cooch.
Hard!
Hard cooch.
Hard!
We're
Hard.
sweeping this out of hand.
Hard cooch.
Hard!
Gosh, that's curling all over the place. Look at that.
Oh, wait.
Hard dips.
He could really do with this red hanging on better than the yellow, and it's not going to. So Scotland rewarded for their patience.
You can roll the same way if you like. Nah,
And look, that just
okay, I like that.
catching a huge curl. They were sweeping that as soon as he let it go. Couldn't hold the line. Couldn't get it past that guard.
Kind of like once we get past
And
that
there you
center
see it
line is
just
when we
lying in
get
that back
more
ring.
curl.
Yeah.
And Scotland
A little bit tighter.
very much have a shot to get three straight back here.
The weight was probably
So
close.
deep breath,
Yeah.
James Craik.
Just didn't quite fit.
Important shot here to steady the ship.
Whoa! Clean! No! Clean! Straight! Whoa! Go!
Yes, no sweeping.
As much roll as you can here.
Normally okay. Is that yellow going to hang on? Oh, they would really like it too. That's a bit unlucky. They were just sweeping it to try to get it to curl at the end there. It just needed a little bit more curl, and that would have been three, but great effort from Scotland. Not easy to come back from losing a big three in the first end, so yeah, fist bumps all round.
Als Immobilienvermarkter bringen wir Mensch und Immobilie zusammen. Mit eigenen Kompetenzzentren in Anlage, Wohnimmobilien und Neubau. leidenschaftlich engagiert. Seit über 35 Jahren. Walde Immobilien.
If you're just joining us,
Less than that.
we are now in the third end of our featured game here at the Baden Masters
Yeah, that's what I
2022
gave you
edition.
first.
Yeah, he was like kind of slid like the first one, that hair type, but didn't quite
Hopefully
get it
someone
that
will
fast.
soon put up the good score of
And
2.
it seems like it might curl a
Scored
hair
by
more
Scotland
past
in
that
the
center
second
line
end.
compared to
Really
the
well
favorite.
worked comeback from them after losing 3 in that first end. So it's Scotland leading us
Yeah.
off in this third
'Cause
end.
those peels like on the center line, like mine curled and his curled. So
First time in the competition for both of these teams, and a while since we've had visitors from Scotland and from North America. We've got everyone here. We've got Team Dropkin from the US that we're watching. We shall be watching the Canadian team, Team Flasch, later. We have the Olympic gold medalists in the form of Team Edin from Sweden.
A little bit of room right
We
now.
have the Olympic silver medalists in the form of Bruce Mouat's team from Scotland.
Line's good.
might have to go a bit.
Andrew's rocked. Andrew's rocked.
And so far, I have to say, if you've got an Olympic medal in your cupboard, then you've got a bit of a target on your back.
Judge.
Bruce Mouat's team losing on the last stone this morning in the 8 o'clock draw to young Team Isner from Switzerland, who've been working hard these past couple of seasons, so they'll be delighted with such a bright start. And Team Edin, you can watch that on the static cam today. They're on sheet 4, not having it all their own way at all. They are 2-1 down to Schnider after 2 ends, being forced to take 1 there in that second end.
Top 8.
And Schnider's team really knocking on the door of the Swiss representation. I think we'll be seeing a lot more of them in the later stages of competitions, and they will not be at all afraid of facing the Olympic champions. In fact, they'll be delighted to have a go at it.
Chance to say it now.
You sort of sit down if you don't touch them.
So there we are behind us. You have the score here in our featured game. Excellent score of 2 in the second for the team from Scotland.
Yeah.
Top 8, top 12.
I think we're still there
Clean.
again.
Line's good.
Might just be slower here.
A little bit of room right now. Cooch is rock right now. Doesn't need to go. Doesn't need to go.
We're there.
48. Gotta sit.
It's good.
Bite. Bite.
Good enough.
Good, Tommy. Nice judge.
Yeah, just walk on.
So what are our objectives for this end? It is the US team playing red. They have the last stone. And calling Scotland's bluff a little bit. Scotland playing towards the centre, as we would expect. Lead thrower Blair Haswell
Top 8.
putting that first stone right on top of the centre line.
Top 12.
And we're playing the no-tick rule here this weekend, so if your stone is touching that centre line, there we are, as that yellow is, you are not allowed to tick it out of the way,
Probably
because
hair.
these top teams were getting a little bit too good at that.
We're top 4.
So this is nice from Scotland,
Sorry. Okay.
just keeping stones in play. The US not really managing to build anything just now. They're having to react a bit to Scotland's play at the moment. That's exactly what Scotland will want.
Hey.
Whoa. Curl.
Good.
A pretty good throw there from the US. Now they are a bit more in control of that all-important top of tee area, so that area just in front of the forefoot. Really clean throw from them there.
Probably we're never keeping that shooter around with that weight, were we? Oh. If it was 8-5, we could have curled at the nose.
You gotta go.
I don't know if either of those weights we ever save anything.
And I don't want to look too far ahead, viewers, but oh boy, do we have a treat for you at lunchtime.
Gotta go.
We are watching Sheet 2 all weekend.
We're just tight.
That's where the live stream will be. And guess who's up next on Sheet 2? It's Olympic silver medalists, Team Bruce Mouat, coming off a surprise loss this morning. And guess who they're playing? It's the new Swiss super team, headed up by Schwaller. I can't wait to see that one, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
The peels don't go into it.
Make sure we get at least T-line.
So important to win your first game in this competition. We have four groups of 5 teams. So not a disaster if you don't win your first game, but you make your life a little bit difficult. So both of these teams out here will be really keen
Back 8, boys.
to get a point on the board.
Line's good. Line's good. Take a look. Take a look. Take a look. 44. You're good.
Chop.
Beauty. Good way, good.
Yeah, a bit of a mistake from Scotland with their previous throw there. That yellow coming up short. And yeah, now I think you've got no choice, Scotland. You're going to have to start moving things.
Both thrower and sweeper.
7/8 high.
Too many red stones lying around now. And red has final throw, so don't hold back. Mark Watt. I got a little bonus jam onto that red on the wing there.
Probably just hit that, right?
But yeah, still in a bit of trouble here, Scotland.
Second shot right now.
Okay.
10-5.
10-5. What he said.
Even if the US just score 1 here, they will maintain that cushion of +2 points. So the US doesn't have to take too many risks here in this third end because of that big start with 3 points in the first.
Yep. Clean.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Hard.
They'd love to put another couple of points on the board here, though.
Right to it, Tom, for nose. Right to it for nose. Late.
All right.
Okay. Good weight.
This is a bold call, yeah. I think I prefer going for the front one. I think the original plan was
Weight was good.
hit and roll on the red on the left of our screen, but gosh, I think that's a bit suicidal at this point in the game. I think let's just go for the front one. I think there's definitely a double possible there, but he was a little bit wide with that, I think. That was going along at quite a lick, and not much the sweepers could do to help with the direction there.
So you think similar speed to that outturn?
That one was okay. Just the release. Yeah.
Tiny ad. Line's okay.
First day of the 2022 Baden Masters. This is the first European competition in the World Curling Tour.
14-3.
Yep.
First big competition after the close of the previous Olympic cycle. So we have some familiar faces,
Whether it be there, then
some familiar teams, and some new teams starting out for this next Olympic cycle. So it's all change.
Yep.
The revolving door marked Olympic curling cycle has now closed again.
freezing to give you a drop.
And yeah, we've got a few new teams to watch out for now. I am intrigued to see how Yannick Schwaller's new team gets on.
I think it's cold in here. I can't remember.
Team Schwaller won this competition last year. But very different look for that team and the rest of Yannick Schwaller's previous team. They are here as well. They actually have a bye in this first round, so we'll see them later on today.
Yes! Hard! Whoa! Yes, 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 yes!
Now, this was a bold call from Scotland, but they've made it.
You're playing the run.
And gosh, that had to be really accurate. Super throw from James Craik.
Oh, I was thinking
Living a bit dangerously, Scotland, but getting away with it.
Just let him make the double.
Yeah, I knew it was called.
Let's see this again. He had to get that roll just perfect. If he hadn't rolled, it was an easy hitting stick for the US. If it had rolled too far, that would also be a fairly straightforward shot for the US. So great stuff there from James Craik. A really bold call.
Close to this, but
And fortune favouring the brave with that call.
you can.
Looking quite nonchalant there behind the hack. One of 4 Scottish teams here this weekend. We're very happy to have our
If you just
Scottish
straight
friends back
whatever
again.
you- I don't know. Whatever you like. Okay. I think we're happy with this.
So the US really forced to do something about this if they want to pick up even one stone. It's that yellow just played from James Craik, that sliding shot just now. And really no way to get there for the US. They're going to have to clear the front here. So
Close,
huge
yep.
push out the hack for Corey Dropkin.
Hard!
Almost overtaking his stone by the look of it.
Hard! Okay.
Everybody stands back while the stones spray everywhere. And that certainly made it better, but definitely still advantage Scotland. And on the live stream, that's on sheet 2 all weekend, we shall have the chance to watch all of our Scottish visitors. Next up for the lunchtime draw is Olympic silver medalists Bruce Mouat against the new lineup for Team Yannick Schwaller. And then we shall see Team Waddell and tomorrow Team Whyte are on the live stream. So if you're a fan of the Scottish teams, plenty for you to watch.
Full 8, boys. Close
So
line.
important stone here for
Yep.
James Craik, his final throw in this third
Line.
end. And big opportunity to put a lot of pressure on the US.
Line's good. Where are you?
But
Call.
this line came up a little bit short for them previously.
You got to get it to nose. Keep curling.
But this
You
is a
gotta get it to
big
nose.
sweep from the front end there.
Shot.
Really nice stuff. Great throw from James Craik. They've really picked themselves up, Scotland, since that first end. Maybe just took them a little minute to settle here. First time in this competition, and as we said, first time for a while that the Scottish teams have been out and about on the tour again.
Yep.
It will be interesting to see how match fit the Scots are. Always very good technically,
We're good.
but maybe lacking a little bit of competition the past 2 years. So really great to see Team Craik putting pressure on the US.
What do you guys think about speed here?
The same speed as last end.
Okay. Yeah, that 14.5-ish.
Line's good.
Good ad. Just
Great
clean
pressure
it
from
out.
Scotland then
Line's
on this
good.
final throw
Line's good.
from Corey Dropkin from the US.
Line's good.
I think he's going for the pin.
14-7. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's just gotta
Not much
check out.
choice. He has to
It's always Pearl.
just nudge up to that yellow, and they thought it was maybe just
Good.
running a
Great
little bit
job.
too fast.
One.
Ooh. And Mark Watt just
Wait.
touching that red stone to indicate, yep, we agree, one red. So, golly,
It seems like
accurate stuff out there. A super shot from Corey Dropkin.
Good judge, guys.
He really had to get to the pin there.
Throw.
Really nicely judged. They were a little bit worried it was
14-7.
running on a bit, but
Yeah,
it
great
dug
shot.
itself in just enough. Just bumped that yellow a millimetre. And yep, one red.
They're probably throwing a corner either way, so I don't. Whatever you like.
Anyone seen anything different right now?
This side's sliding better.
Yeah.
Seems
Perfektion bedeutet nichts. Nicht, wenn du sie nicht fühlen kannst. Ich denke viel darüber nach, wie ich mich fühle, wenn ich einen Raum betrete. Stell dir vor, du betrittst deine Küche und spürst, dass dieser Ort wie für dich gemacht ist. Vielleicht wegen der klaren Linien oder der echten Materialien. Für mich ist das Perfektion.
A very accurate score
Halfway.
of 1 point there with Corey Dropkin's final throw in that third end. Great pressure from Scotland, forcing him
Line's
to draw the
good a
pin,
bit.
which he did.
Line's good.
Halfway.
Line's good.
And that means it is now Scotland who have last stone in this fourth end. So right in the middle of this game, we play 8 ends here in the Baden Masters. And if scores are tied after 8 ends, we do play an extra.
No, I think it'll be the same speed.
Stop.
Hard line. Hard line. Hard. Just over. Gotta go. Just keep it fighting. Both of you. Go, 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 go. Hard. Now with no drop off.
And fairly classic setup here. It's Scotland with the last stone playing yellow, so they're quite happy to stay away from the centre. They don't want to get
Yeah, as you feel.
muddled up getting a whole bunch of stones in there. The US, of course, without last stone, they want to do the opposite. Lead Tom Howell for the US outfit.
Tight.
Threw up really nice guard, covering the line. No tick shots
Nice.
allowed in this
Tight, top
competition.
Tight.
And I fancy
We're just going tight, boys.
he's going to
Andrew's
go around
rock.
the back of it. Or
Go
maybe
ahead,
throw
Andrew.
up even a second guard, also fine.
Keep her coming. A little more. A little more. Just checking up.
So a little bit close together, those two guards. Not quite perfect, but we have very high standards here.
Should be close.
Yeah.
Stop
I
it.
almost acted like
Second
an
row
advance.
for Blair Hastwell
Go, go, go.
from the Scottish
Yeah.
team.
Hard. Stop it. Hard. Hard. Right, mark it. Right here. Go, go, go. Yes. Hard.
Looks like he's thrown this pretty well. Nice stuff from Blair. Really good throw there. Now that might look like a bit of a strange idea. You can see Scotland threw up that nice corner guard on the right of our screen and then just ignored that and decided to play towards the middle. But there is method to the apparent madness. So you have to make a decision whether you're going to sort of call the opposition's
Top
bluff
12,
and try to
tight.
get to the centre
Top eight,
before
guys,
them,
Top 8.
or whether you really take a deep breath, use your corner guard, but then you know you're going to be clearing out the centre for the rest of the end.
Andrew! Andrew! Andrew, keep going! Getting better now. Straight! Keep going, buddy. Keep going.
This is nice from second thrower Mark Fenner.
Keep going with it. Keep going with it.
He doesn't need to beat this yellow. And that's a pretty good result there. He doesn't need to beat that yellow because the US indeed scoring 1 in that third end. The US are 4-2 ahead.
The line was ended up being good,
so this is one of these situations where a score of -1 for the US, if they just give 1 to Scotland, fine for them.
Because you can't really throw the end and get around everything, can you? Is that enough? Oh, that is pretty straight, yeah.
And Scotland looks like they're really committing to get to the centre first. So second thrower Angus Bryce being asked to come around the anti-clockwise handle.
Top 8. Top 8! Top 8!
That throw from Mark Fenner just landing in the front rings a little bit shorter than they would have liked, and Scotland hoping to take advantage of that. There you can see plenty space for a second yellow. But ooh, this is full beans by the look of it. I don't think this one's going to stop in time, unfortunately. At this level, you need to use all of these, even half a chance. You're not going to get too many chances.
You like that?
What do you like instead?
With that miss there from Scotland.
Outturn or intern?
The US are going to throw pretty much the same, which again maybe is a bit counterintuitive. You would say, why would they want the same shot as Scotland? But if they can play exactly what Scotland wanted to play, if they can just nudge up to that Scotland stone. Again, they don't really need to move it. If they just nudge up to that Scotland stone, then they've pretty effectively blocked both handles, and quite hard work for Scotland to get 2 points after that.
Hard line. Hard
You can see Scotland 4-2 behind at the moment.
Keep going, hard. Hard line. Hard line. Come on, Andrew, keep going. Keep going.
Oh, I think that just touched that guard, did it? It looked like it caught molecules, but they had the right weight on it, and that's found a good spot.
Not bad.
Nice read.
Let's see if we can see it this way. I think it just touches. It does. It catches a couple of molecules on that guard, but they had a really nice weight, and yeah, that red's found a nice spot. You can see that really blocks that anti-clockwise handle for Scotland. And as we thought, the yellow there not bothering the US team very much. They don't mind if Scotland score 1 in this end,
Sure, we score 1.
because then exactly
There, so we might be able to make a double.
that's exactly what Scotland are now discussing. Yeah, that it's pretty straightforward to score 1 point from here for Scotland, but then they would still be -1 point, and the US would have hammer back. So they want to try to clear a bit of space. Big throw from Angus Bryce. And that's a decent result. He certainly opened up the clockwise handle. You could definitely get a stone round there, but of course the danger is you've opened it up for everyone.
Is the line? Oh, he just plays off of it, doesn't he?
And the US quite happy to keep playing towards the centre here.
We run.
Leave the difficult stuff to the Scottish team.
It's that or we run, right?
And I told you, viewers, to keep an eye on that game on sheet 4, and guess what's happening? Team Andre Schnider, after 3 ends, they are 4-1 up on the Olympic champions. Wow.
You probably could hit it thicker. You didn't get your shirt
I
right.
cannot stress enough how awkward Team Schnider are to get past.
Oh, thinner, sorry.
Not a ton of ad.
If you and I were playing the Olympic champions, we might say to ourselves, I wonder what time the next train home is. And that's not how Andre Schnider thinks. He is up for this game.
Clean. Clean. Close.
decent. No, he might just.
I'm not quite sure what the US were thinking with that stone, because I think the anti-clockwise handle was already quite nicely blocked. I think they were maybe trying to set up some angles so that when Corey Dropkin has his stones, then they're hoping to try to set up the angle so that they can punch that red onto the yellow. So keep Scotland busy over there on the anti-clockwise handle, and Scotland maybe can't afford to throw a second stone swinging around the clockwise handle. So those reds getting a little bit dangerous now.
Remember, just throw the end turn freeze. That's edge on edge. It's probably there, but I think it is there, but it's really hard.
James Craik just asking what it looks like from the other end. Asking the boys what do they think. Can the Americans make that shot? Can they punch that yellow through?
Like
red onto yellow.
there, on top.
That's the other idea, yeah. It is to indeed
Redirect off that.
call the Americans' bluff and go around the clockwise handle, but a little bit hard to tell from where I am, but yeah, that
About here.
could be very risky. If those reds are set up nicely and Corey Dropkin can catch them at the right angle. So yeah, worth getting this right, lads, but do nevertheless get on with it.
Yeah. You can potentially roll in as well. Just 7/8 low, make the double. Or 3/4 low, just about. Yeah, I think so.
Even if you ever don't make contact with this and you just do that, that's okay.
Yeah. Just make this double and try and roll in. Yeah. When we throw the draw, it makes this angle.
Oh, this is the kind of shot that makes me very nervous if I would be throwing it.
Let's make this double.
You have to be very accurate. Excuse me, very accurate with your line on this one, or you're going to end up in heaps of trouble.
Whoa.
So a nice stable throw from Mouat.
Whoa!
Nice stuff from him, really good shot. Really taking away a lot of that danger on those reds. Tricky stuff. If he got that line wrong, he could quite easily have popped his own out. So really nice stuff from Mouat. Let's have another look at that one. Really nice there. Two of those dangerous reds going through the gap, and no access really to that remaining red. You're going to, yeah, if you want to pop that yellow out, you're going to have to play yellow onto red onto yellow. And there will still be a few yellows hanging around actually. So Scotland, in a way, a bit of a pity that they just had a bit of a slow start in that first end, because gosh, they've been keeping their foot to the floor ever since.
Back it up, Cooch, come on!
Hard!
Cooch! Hard, Cooch!
Hard!
A little more, buddy, a little more, a little more, a little more.
And indeed, not quite catching the angle. So what does Scotland do now? Their decisions similar to what we were facing a couple of stones ago. Those reds on the anti-clockwise handle, definitely available for the US team, but certainly not in as nice a position as they were before. So yeah, I think now is the time to use that lovely open clockwise handle. Nice big gap for Mouat to draw one, just sit on top of his own.
See what they do here. They do like a nice little frozen to it.
Whoa, whoa, easy!
Whoa. Curl! Curl!
Hard!
Trying to sweep it to catch the curl.
Straight, yep.
It looks pretty good.
Hard, whoa, whoa, curl,
It's curling in nicely now. Weight looks just lovely.
Hard!
No bounce, no bounce!
Really nice shot from Mouat.
Good suit.
And again, patient stuff from Scotland, just waiting for a bit of a half shot from the US and then jumping on that.
Yeah.
And now the US
Oh, well, that was
facing two Scottish stones, and no easy options for them.
the port was tighter than the one that Blair put. Because maybe hitting just slightly checked over. So the port was even tighter than the one you put.
The centre one's not in play though. Hmm? The centre one wasn't never in the way though.
That's why we can get like springs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The annoying thing is you can stop one just being like...
Skip stones in this fourth end of our featured game at the Baden Masters. We are back to full capacity.
You're trying to cross this almost.
I know we all had a lot of fun last year watching Anna Hasselborg's team
Better hair thinner.
and Irene Shuri. Some of the men's teams not able to travel, and we had our two guest ladies teams and we had a lot of fun cheering for them. But normal service resumed now and we have a full roster. We have the Olympic champions, we have the Olympic silver medalists, we have a new Swiss super team headed up by Yannick Schwaller. We have the chasing Swiss teams, so Team Stocker, the most popular man in curling, and Team Hoesli. Both of those teams were within 7 centimetres of qualifying for Switzerland at the World Championships just before summer. I will be very intrigued to see how Yannick Schwaller's new lineup competes against those two
Good, real good.
very up and coming outfits. But first things first. Very nice shot from Corey Dropkin.
Really good.
It is really good.
Yeah. Don't think we could have done any better.
So superfan Megan has to get some sleep, but don't worry, Megan. We have lots of curling for you to catch up on
I don't think it would stick like that.
once you have breakfast tomorrow morning. So anything you can do, I can do better, or at least just as well. There you can see that red's actually lying short now.
Then they might guard and then you're like drawing here or something. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I'm saying if you stuff this,
Oh, yeah.
that's a disaster.
Mine this is tight.
Okay then. So either you're throwing the wee bump, or if you like trouble, throw that.
What do you think? What is this?
You like the wee bump?
3 stones to come. There you go. 2 for
Probably
Scotland,
guard it and it makes it harder for
1 for the US. Just asking
Throwing the same
the
weight.
boys down the other end what looks nice from their end. Yeah, I think that the danger with playing on the reds is that I think that gives the US an easier shot with their last stone actually. So I think this is the shot that can put the most pressure on the US. Scotland have 2 stones to come, the US just the 1. And Scotland have just played this shot, so they should know this line pretty well. You can see that red just out front there, the red guard really blocking access to those 2 reds in the house there. So Scotland have just played this shot. And they just want to bump it a few centimetres into the 4 foot. And I think that gives them the best chance to score more than 1.
Or we can play that slash. Or we like guard the hole.
Easy!
Assuming like we can.
Clean! Yep! Hard! Hard!
So this can't be short though, James Craik. What you don't want to do is guard.
Yeah, bounce it.
Dear, this was better a little bit heavy than a little bit short. Now he's just blocked himself out as well. You're going to have a tricky last stone here, Mr. Craik.
What's his move right now?
Right, that's his move.
Yeah.
And you can hear both of the teams talking about as they're deciding, well, if we play this, then what would he do?
He's playing, if that's still there, he's playing with...
Do we just guard this draw here?
The team's always thinking it right through to the conclusion of the end.
It's that or you play this yourself. Whatever you like, though.
The only downside there.
Yeah, that'd be bad. I mean, you'd rather air it than do that, but
Right.
if you like the guard, I think that's okay.
I think that's a smart.
Okay.
move. I think we have him forced already.
Okay.
I think the anti-clockwise handle is
Guard.
pretty safe already. I don't think there's
He doesn't have
much to be done over there. I
Let's go
think,
with
yeah,
this.
well, they're still having a look at it.
Yeah, that should be good.
You're just guarding like here, pretty much.
Yeah.
This makes sense though, so it sounds like they're going to put a guard there on the anti-clockwise handle and force James Craik to try to draw for one, which will be not so easy anymore because that gap on the clockwise handle is a little bit narrower now.
Speed's nice.
There you can see that if you imagine a red guard coming, not a lot of space for Scotland. Last stone of the first half for Corey
Line will be
Dropkin.
good. Line's good.
Just clean.
Line's
Just clean.
good. Keep it clean. Might need to go here. Yep.
Looks like everybody's pretty happy with it.
Keep going. Keep going.
So the Great Wall of China approach. And no nice options for Scotland here, golly.
Yeah, you can sort of make it that as well, that way as well.
Quite a big difference between
Quarters.
managing to pick up a point here. That would make the score 4-3. And if they would lose a point here, that would make the score 5-2. So quite a big difference in this shot.
3 quarters.
Well finished.
Thick half.
I just don't.
Yep.
Bit of a Hail Mary here, but nothing else on really for Scotland. Unfortunately, they made their lives a little bit difficult with James Craik's first stone coming up a bit short, and now needing a bit of a circus shot to get out of this, so good luck. Huge throw from James Craik. And doesn't quite catch enough of it, and one red it will be. So at the conclusion of the fourth end, halfway, a score of 1 to the US means they lead. Team Craik from Scotland 5-2.
Yeah, I just needed ice or less ice than where you needed to hit it.
Als Immobilienvermarkter bringen wir Mensch und Immobilie zusammen. Mit eigenen Kompetenzzentren in Anlage, Wohnimmobilien und Neubau. Leidenschaftlich engagiert, seit über 35 Jahren. Walde Immobilien.
Second half of our featured game here at the Baden Masters 2022 edition. It's the granddaddy of the World Curling Tour. This kicks us off for the following season.
15-1.
All the big names are here. We've got loads of good games coming up to watch this weekend.
Good start, Tommy.
We have 4 groups of 5 teams. We have a featured game every session on sheet 2. We have the static cam every session on sheets 3 and 4. If you've been a bit starved of curling over the summer,
Lucas.
We have a feast of curling for you for the next 3 days.
Halfway, tight. On your brush.
Our featured game this morning. 2 first-time teams in this competition. We have Team Corey Dropkin from the US, and they are facing Team James Craik from Scotland. And Scotland doing a lot of good work, but just a couple of key shots not quite working out, and they find themselves 5-2 behind at half-time.
Just clean.
We play 8 ends, so they have 4 ends to make up those 3 points. Definitely doable.
Andrew, a little. Whoa, clean, straight. Whoa.
And keeping half an eye on the game on sheet 4 this morning as well. It is the Olympic champions, Team Niklas Edin. Very strong supporters of this competition, won it several times, and they are playing up-and-comers Team Schnider from Switzerland. And I tell you, Schnider, that team are so difficult to get past, and they have not taken their feet off the necks of Team Edin. And at half-time, it is Schnider's team who are 4-2 up on the Olympic champions. And it was quite the circus shot that Niklas Edin had to play to make that 1 point in the 4th. So Team Schnider, the blood's up out there, and maybe we shall be seeing another shock result on sheet 4 this morning. We had Team Mouat, the Olympic silver medalists. They were up against Team Iseli, young team from Switzerland, in I think their 3rd season. And a really close game, and the Olympic silver medalists losing to young Iseli team with a real peach of a shot from young Iseli with his last throw. So
Whoa!
not going all your way, even though you have Olympic medals.
Roll it a little bit.
No respect out there for that. Everybody would love to say they've beaten Olympic medalists. They're not scared of having a go at the champions. They're delighted to have the opportunity to play the Olympic teams. And a bit of a momentum shift in our featured game here. It's a while since we've had in Baden teams from Scotland. It's been a couple of years since the Scots were able to travel due to pandemic and so on. And a few years since we've had visitors from North America as well.
Easy.
And that's a nice result there from Angus Bryce. That's more like it. There you can see not getting so cluttered up in the middle. That's not really been working for Scotland. It can do. You can get to the middle ahead of your opposition and just keep piling the pressure on there. But yeah, time for Scotland to try something a bit different. This is already looking nicer.
Roll it away.
And that tactic is paying off. So big throw from Mark Fenner, second thrower in the US team, but not quite getting that double. And now big opportunity for Scotland to get a second shot in.
Whoa, sliding.
Tight.
Alright. Whoa, go guard then. Wait, sliding. Short.
Big sweep from his teammates here for Angus Bryce's second throw. And that's pulled up short again.
Okay. 16-4. It adds up.
He's not quite found his tee weight out there today, Angus Bryce. And that's a pity, because yeah, that Scottish stone right next to Corey Dropkin's brush, that's not going to be there much longer.
Clean. Clean. Curl.
No.
Curl.
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 Whoa.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Really good.
Well, he couldn't really have gone up and placed that much better. A hit and roll to freeze onto their own stone in the middle. Impressive stuff from the Americans. Yeah, a bit of a shift in momentum. Really jumped out the blocks, the US outfit. Big score of 3 in the first end, and then a lot of hard work, patient work from James Craik's team. But the momentum, just for me, shifting back a little bit again. Scotland going to start running out of ends fairly soon. They could really do with putting 2 up on the board here. That's better. That yellow locked onto that red. That's not going anywhere.
Forward.
How much?
Forward.
There's a light. There's a light. So didn't really push it through by too much.
And we can see what's going on around the rink. Everybody over the halfway point. And on sheet 1, we have another of the Scottish teams. That's Team Whyte. They are playing young Team Jermann from Switzerland, and the Scottish team, they are 7-1 up at half-time. They're having a bright start. On sheet 3, you can watch on the static cam. We have the familiar Norwegians, Stefan Walstad. They are 6-2 ahead of Team Todzeg from Germany. Slightly new lineup for Team Todzeg. No Mark Miskatovic this weekend. And over on sheet 4, Team Andrew Schnider stamping all over the Olympic champions Nicholas Edin. They are 4-2 ahead at half-time. Every stone feels really critical now for the Scottish team. They've been doing a lot of good work, but yeah, just a couple of critical half shots or a couple of critical misses, and it's really costing them. But this looks like a nice throw. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, great shot.
Mark Watt having a very happy game, I must say. He hasn't really missed much. He's doing his best to keep the team afloat out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, you could hardly have gone up and placed that yellow stone any better. It just feathered around the guard, missed it by less than a millimetre, and look at that, it's really buried in there.
Perfectly. When you could nose and then, I don't know what he could do to line it up.
Yeah, I mean, you can try something with this, but we got to make sure one of these yellows are gone.
Corey Dropkin just saying there, we need to make sure one of these yellows is gone.
You have to stick like right here. That way he's playing something over.
He's quite right, because of that lovely stone from Mark Watt. Really buried in behind those 2 guards, or front ring guard and the guard out front.
Do we do this instead then?
We could.
Or do we try to just make this? We could try. I mean,
that stone putting a lot of pressure on the US now.
7-5.
Okay.
We'll play it to back it off.
I think no trouble removing this yellow. If you just touch that front red anywhere, then the yellow's squirting straight out the back.
Yep. Yeah.
But I think what they're worried about is it's Scotland who has last stone in the 5th end here. Skip stones to come, 2 each. And Scotland with last stone. So important is where this red shooter is going to end up for the US. I think it's hard to remove this yellow and also put pressure on Scotland. Let's see where it finds.
Hard.
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 Huge weight from Corey Dropkin. and spun it all the way out. I'm not quite sure that's what they wanted, but that was a huge weight. It was not going to hang around unless you were perfectly accurate, and looks like Scotland quite fancy doing the same again. They've just played that stone.
You have to get half buried. I don't think you're getting it fully buried. Unless you're like right to it. But half buried top it's there is pretty nice, I think. Eh? I don't mind that.
That's the other option.
As long as you get a piece
You can
on it.
either play on top of that stone from Mark Watt. The risk there is that you might accidentally leave a double. If you get that one perfectly, that's a great shot, but I think this is maybe the easier shot for James Craik here. They need a second yellow in.
Yeah, it's the same weight really.
And where do they put it? So if you can just get it even just an edge in behind that red.
Edge on edge is okay. Huh? Edge on
Exactly.
edge is okay.
And just make it really difficult for the US to remove both of the yellows. Big shot here for James Craik. This could be, I feel, quite decisive in this game. I feel like Scotland really need to pick up 2 points here if they are to stay in a position to win this game. I don't think they can afford to lose any more points, so let's have a really nice throw here, James Craik. Let's make that level with the other yellow. Really force a big shot from the US and see if you have a chance to score 2.
T-line! Line's perfect!
This does look nice.
Carl! Whoa, straight!
The
Straight!
sweepers just keeping it clean.
Hard! Hard! Hard!
Really well judged by the sweepers there.
Hard, 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 hard.
And great shot from James Craik. Bravo, sir. He was a bit short with the last time he was throwing T-weight and really corrected that. Great stuff from him.
Pretty close to that.
You like that?
Yeah, with peel.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've seen this from Scotland all game, really, like really patient set-up work, finding really nice places for their stones, but either not quite finishing it off or having just a critical half shot, and the US punishing them for it. But again, Scotland set up this end really, really nicely, and they will really be hoping that they can have a chance to make 2 here.
Close.
Yep.
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 Yes.
Clean. Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Hard.
Yes.
Hard.
Go, 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 go.
Oh,
Okay, pretty good.
Well now,
I didn't take a good look.
what do you think, viewers? Did that yellow pop out far enough? I'm not sure it did.
Good
James
throw.
Craik having a good look at it. What do you think? For me, I think yellow is second shot at the moment. Super effort from Corey Dropkin, not at all an easy shot.
It was tougher than it looked, though.
And we will see that all weekend here in Baden.
Mind if I take a peek?
This is a game of millimetres out there.
Get out of the way. What do you know? Really close. We even do our own.
James Craik then, last shot in this 5th end. He can see all but an edge, I would say, of that red. And I don't think we'll see a huge weight like Corey Dropkin through. He'll want to control this weight. Let the sweepers take control.
Hard! Hard!
So sweeping it all the way.
Hard! Right to it! Hard! Hard! That's it.
Really nicely controlled. Well done. So definitely 1 yellow, and let's see what they agree.
Yeah, let's take a look at it.
Yeah?
Take a look at it.
I say 2.
He wants to take a look at it, he says. So yeah, of course the Scots are saying,
It's up to you.
I think it's 2.
It's up
But
to you.
yeah, I
would like to.
I think the US are wise to measure this. Again, quite a big difference between
Don't mind.
the Scots scoring 2 here and only scoring 1.
Yeah, we do it ourselves, I think.
Do we? I know where it is.
No.
They're just wondering, do we call the umpire to do a measure or do we do it ourselves?
Where the fuck is it?
I don't even see it.
I don't know, from like the back quad, it looks fairly low. Over the top of
And while everyone's looking and looking and looking again,
the restaurant.
If we just used the gym yesterday,
doesn't
it
make
would've
any
been
difference now, boys, but
just one.
we have our first result
As the
over on sheet 1.
Corey felt good about it.
That is a win for Team Whyte from Scotland in 6 ends. You can see that score just on the left of our screen there. I'm not quite sure what the score was in that 6th end, but they have shaken hands. So I can't see the needle from where I am,
Shot of 0.
but let's see what they say.
Oh yeah. Not close.
2 yellow.
2 yellow it is, as we thought.
Didn't even touch our rock. Not that he had it a whole lot on theirs, but
Maybe Andrew Stopera feeling a little bit silly. He said, "Oh, it didn't even touch our rock," but no, I think they were wise to take a look at it. It did look close.
Perfektion bedeutet nichts. Nicht, wenn du sie nicht fühlen kannst. Ich denke viel darüber nach, wie ich mich fühle, wenn ich einen Raum betrete. Stell dir vor, du betrittst deine Küche und spürst, dass dieser Ort wie für dich gemacht ist. Vielleicht wegen der klaren Linien oder der echten Materialien. Für mich ist das Perfektion.
he's like,
Yeah,
it's
you
2.
want to put
I'm
it
like,
back
okay,
on.
let's swing it. He's like, do you want to swing it? It's not up to me. I'm like,
That's close.
just said it to you 3 times.
We are in the 6th end
I was like,
of our
check.
featured game at Baden Masters.
I don't know how I can be any more clear. Do you want me to save 1? It's 1.
We are starting this 2022 to 23 season with quite a bang. As always, a strong roster of 20 teams here in Baden. We have the Olympic gold and silver medalists,
Same.
one of whom
Congrats, have a good end.
lost their first game this
Halfway.
morning, Bruce Mouat, and one of whom, Niklas Edin from Sweden, is losing their game right now.
Barely over.
All of these teams
Dude, we speak the same
delighted to have a go at the Olympic medalists, delighted to test themselves out, and for sure, viewer, Team Andrew Schnider,
We've taken it.
they will not be afraid of winning against Team Edin over on rink 4.
No.
And here in our featured game, really well worked too from Scotland there in that 5th end.
Aye, that'd have been nice.
Big difference
Not
between
12.
a score of 5-4 and
Not
a score of
12, we gotta go.
5-3 at this stage. We've got 3 ends left. We're playing 8 ends.
Line's good.
And really important that Scotland picked up 2 there. It was a brave last stone from Dropkin from the US, but couldn't quite pop the yellow out far enough, leaving Scotland solid chance for 2. And they ate that up, so really good stuff from Scotland.
I always think we guard the range.
I was feeling like the momentum was
Yeah.
a little bit with the US, but
Not quite free.
hopefully that's cheered everyone up in the Scottish team. That's really kept them in the running in this game.
Yeah.
Second throw in the 6th end for Blair Haswell, lead thrower. We are playing the no tick rule here this weekend
I think we're level with the yellow.
because all of these big teams were simply getting too good at it. And if your stone is touching that centre line, the other team are not allowed to tick that shot.
Felt like he stopped at the hog line. I know.
So everyone playing towards the centre here.
So hard.
We're in the 6th end of this 8-end game, and both teams will now be looking at the scoreboard, playing the scoreboard a bit, saying, okay, if we score 1 in this end, then let's try to force them to score 1, and so on. And that will really affect the strategy as well. Neither team needs to go all out aggressive here. Scotland are 1 behind, but definitely steadied the ship with that big score of 2 in the 5th end.
Yeah.
Still the yellows now.
First throw in the 6th end for Angus Bryce. Oh, he doesn't look too pleased with that shot. Oh, okay. Looks like maybe the stone went over something. You can see everybody just giving the ice a bit of a sweep there. And indeed, that stone hasn't found the right path. That's a pity. Angus Bryce not having his best start out there this morning, and maybe that bad luck rather indicative of his morning's work so far.
It looked funny anyway.
Yeah.
Let's hope that doesn't put him off. That's never nice when you get to pick up and your stone doesn't go anywhere. But it could be worse. It found at least a place out front there.
Yep.
All those guards not helping the US. So I fancy a big throw coming from Mark Fenner here.
Yep. Hard. Hard, gotta go.
Good to see our North American friends back again in this competition. It's been a few years since we've had any Canadian or US teams.
Yeah, I think so.
Team Brad Gushue, they've won this tournament a couple of times, but that was almost 10 years ago. They won in 2013 and also 2007. And Team Burtnick from Canada, they won in 2006. But yeah, it's been a while since we had guests from North America. But one could also argue it's been a while since the North American teams have really been as dominant as they used to be. And I don't think that's a coincidence. The Canadian teams don't really travel much anymore. Their big tournaments in Canada tend to be big tournaments because the European teams are there, and I think it's been hurting the Canadian teams and the North American teams that they haven't been travelling.
What? Touch. It makes sense.
I'm very happy then to see Team Dropkin from the US, and we shall see later on this weekend Team Flasch from Canada. And I really hope it pays off for them. I think they're giving themselves a really good opportunity here, playing against all these European teams who will be travelling over to North America during the season as well. And I think it will serve them well, our North American guests, to play on European ice, play against these European teams. I think it will serve them well.
Hard, Tom. Hard, Tom. Come on, buddy, gotta go. Hold it straight. Go, 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 go.
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Great shot.
Great sweep, buddy. Way to go. Good shot.
I can see 3/4. 2/3.
He's had a lot of thinking to do this morning, James Craik.
Where are the...
It does suit Scotland to have those guards out front because Scotland doesn't have last stone, but they do then need to get to the centre first is the problem.
Everything, but I'm not sure that's there. Yeah.
You can see how all the games are getting on.
I've got 2/3.
We have all the scores and all the team information, the competition information at worldcurlingtour.org.
Got those 2 yellows, we even got the red. I got everything.
That's what I see.
A couple of shocks already this morning. Silver medalists Bruce Mouat
Nervy for
losing on the last stone, and to a peach of a shot, it must be said, to young
Whoa.
Iseli team from Switzerland and
Whoa.
Yep.
No. Go.
Team Stocker, who have been knocking on the door for a while now.
Hard.
Hard.
They were
Hard.
7 centimetres away from being Swiss champions last year.
Hard. Go, 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 go,
But
go.
the most popular man in curling, Yves Stocker, their team also lost this morning to young new Norwegian outfit, Hoestmaelingen.
Not bad. We try to make this.
Brave effort from Scotland, but I think
Like that?
the US still going to capitalise on that.
Yeah,
We're in the 6th end out
Probably
of
about a
8.
foot or two.
it's probably, it has to be this, I think. So it hit hair slower, you think?
So if you're Scotland, this end is looking a bit like damage limitation at the moment, and losing
Clean.
1 point to the
You
US in
can.
the 6th end,
Oh,
not a
good line.
disaster.
Yep.
That would make the score 6-4. If you lose
Hard line!
2 to the
Clean.
US in this end,
Clean.
that would make the score 7-4. And
Clean.
you're starting to lose touch a
Clean.
little bit in that
Straight.
game.
Whoa, whoa!
Oh, curl, curl, curl,
But
curl,
US really
curl.
piling on this pressure. Great shot
shot.
there. Yeah, really nice shot from Andrew Stopera.
That'll do.
Yeah, not much choice for Scotland. They have to try to clear a space here.
You're probably always stuffing.
I only have a thick half. I only have just over half.
Perfect.
But not easy either. Mark Watt just saying he can only see half, really,
That's fine.
of those 2 reds
As long as half makes the double.
How you play
just
this?
near the centre line. Not so straightforward. That could be the easier way in to come
I
off
would
that
say
yellow.
that.
Okay.
That's a better angle there. We can see
Okay.
that, yeah, not so easy to get to those 2 reds.
Half.
Watch as you can see.
Okay.
The US still just on top of this game. Just playing a couple fewer mistakes,
Like it was a precise
really
shot for-
making the most of their chances when they have it.
No.
But a win already, you can see on the left of the screen there.
Yes!
No.
Huge win for Team Ross Whyte from Scotland. And huge shot from Mark Watt. Great work there. He said he could only see half, and that's all he needed.
Can I throw it?
He hasn't missed much today, Mark Watt.
No, actually, I'm seeing double right now. That's really white.
Oh, aye.
Show here is how line. Like she did other work. So
Oh, yeah.
it's so weird. So like, every time I look at study, it's kind of just going high. Like,
And now the key
Bad.
for Scotland is again to really try to
Here we got a
shut
little more
down
room.
the US chances here. So they know the US are going to try to play towards the middle again.
Switch
And
whenever.
Hard, guys,
Scotland
go.
not looking like they're going to score here. So what Scotland need to do is prevent the US from scoring a big end.
Gotta go, come on, get in
Hard.
at least. Dig, 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 dig.
And that's pulled up a little bit shorter than they wanted. And now there's definitely opportunity on both handles, I think. Oh no, not in the anti-clockwise, but yeah, definitely opportunity on that clockwise handle for Scotland. Space to sneak in behind everything. Good shot here from James Craik, but could really put the pressure back on the US. Although Corey Dropkin's been really giving a bit of a masterclass. He's hardly missed a thing. Skip stones in the 6th end. It's US has last stone. The US lying quite nicely in the 6th end, so Scotland need to shut that down. They need to put a bit more pressure back on the US. I fancy Scotland don't mind losing 1 point here, but they really don't want to lose 2. So
Clears.
big shot for James Craik here. Looks like they just want to try to
Hide.
catch the curl now. This is looking nice.
Hide.
This is looking really nice.
Hide.
Keep going.
Hide. Keep going. Hide. Hide.
Keep going, he says.
Nice shot.
And there's your result. Gosh, what a shot from James Craik. And what a curl we have out there, golly. He got round that front red by nothing at all, and it's all but buried. So fantastic shot from James Craik. A little bit out of nowhere. Scotland are now in a potentially handy situation to even steal a point.
I don't know if you do that now. I don't know if you do that now. If you miss, if you make it, it's really good. But even if you stick it, he might just make this when you have nothing.
Right.
I mean,
Both teams having to really think about their shots today. Both teams putting good pressure on each
can
other.
you kill it? Can you kill it?
How? Peel?
I'm not sure you can kill that shot, Corey
Yeah.
Dropkin.
I probably see like that much of it.
Yeah, you can see
I mean, we
I
can
think-
split.
less than a millimetre.
Could do that. It's actually not bad.
Split. Play this.
There's a summary.
Kind of like that.
What's going on out
Where
there,
does he
as
go
we
if
said
you
on
go
sheet
that
1.
here?
Really strong win for
Probably-
Team Ross Whyte from
probably hits and
Scotland.
rolls here.
You might just,
First
you might
time in
just
the
draw
competition for that team and for Team Jermann. We're in the business end of our featured game on sheet
Like,
2.
what's the best
We can
spot?
see
Like,
Team Walstad having a real
you can do
steady game
that.
against Team Todzek of Germany.
He's probably wide
And
wrapped, you know, so
look
it's
at
not
that
very
score
good.
over in sheet 4.
This might be the best shot,
I
man.
thought that would be an interesting one. And yeah, Team Schnider not at all afraid of the Olympic gold medalists.
Okay.
And I'm just having a little look down onto the sheet, and Team Schnider are lying pretty nicely in the 6th end.
Freeze.
We're not afraid of your Olympic medals. And both of those teams, Team Edin and Team Schnider, both of those on the live cam later on this weekend.
Good ad. Felt
Line's
there.
good.
First
Flip
of
it
his
line,
shots
flip it
for
line.
Corey Dropkin.
Line's good.
Line's good. Line's good.
Little room.
Super first
Whoa,
shot
whoa,
from
whoa,
James
whoa,
Craik.
whoa.
There you can see that yellow plumb in the forefoot. And
Where?
oh gosh, this needs to catch a huge
Oh,
curl if it's
stand,
going
yep.
to reach that yellow.
Yep. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, wait.
Well, I'm not sure that's quite what they wanted, but that's found a
We just sneak in
a
for
good
shot.
spot.
Okay.
That red just putting its brakes on and actually now lying short. And Scotland now have the same kind of question that the US just looked at. You can see a little bit more of that red than the US could of the yellow. And what do? Do you try to play a little bit higher weight and try to chip that red out, or do you just kind of follow it? Or do you play almost the same shot you just played? Try to
You might even be able to
bump your previous zone up. I think that could be difficult because of the angle. I'm not sure you could get enough of that. So yeah, it was a bit of a half shot from the US, but it has remarkably found a pretty good place to stop there.
Can we just chip the top one, we probably chip it to stop.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you do chip this one, I'll probably sit there and maybe outcount this one and that one. Yeah, 13. You only need to move it 2 inches.
It sounds like the call is to move it a couple of inches. Pretty similar to the shot we just saw from Corey Dropkin then. We know that the stone will catch a big curl towards the end. And he just needs to be careful with the weight here. He doesn't want a big weight or it won't catch enough curl. And as we said, giving up one, not a disaster for Scotland, but they don't want to give up any more. So last shot for James Craik in the 6th end.
Whoa! 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 Clean!
You can see Blair has help with the stopwatch out.
Curl! Curl! Whoa! Clean! Angus! Whoa! Yep!
Yes, no sweeping. Sounds promising. And they do indeed just chip it far enough. 2 great shots from James Craik there. In fact, good shots all round, apart from that one bad luck shot that Angus Bryce had in this end, where it picked up as he was throwing it, but apart from that, 7 out of 7. And there's your result.
Is it a girl much this out turn?
You saw Cooch's, that's the only one that we've thrown in turn out. It was a little closer to the center line. His moved a little bit, but he didn't throw it.
Yeah,
that
there's
good.
no risk to this shot. They're looking at coming
Touch.
off that yellow,
Yeah, I think that's close.
just to the right of Corey Dropkin's brush. Just catch an edge of that, redirect the stone, and try to punch that yellow in the 4-foot, and definitely worth a go at this if he makes it. I think it might even be a 4, and that would be basically game over. And worst case, you lose 1 point, and you're no worse off. So no risk to the shot. It will be a spectacular one if he makes it.
Yep! Hard!
So he needs a decent weight at this. It's got a long way to travel, this shot.
Hard. Okay.
But no, I think that's overcurled already. It has. You can see the idea. If that had caught a little bit less, it could have punched that yellow out, but great stuff from Scotland. Really good fight back from them. 3 points in the past 2 ends, and scores are now level. That's a big score of 1, a steal of 1 to Scotland in the 6th end, and the score is 5-all.
Als Immobilienvermarkter bringen wir Mensch und Immobilie zusammen. Mit eigenen Kompetenzzentren in Anlage, Wohnimmobilien und Neubau. Leidenschaftlich engagiert, seit über 35 Jahren. Walde Immobilien.
2 ends left in our featured game at the Baden Masters. We are watching Team Dropkin, who have come all the way from the US to see us, and Team Craik from Scotland. We have 4 Scottish teams here this weekend. We've missed our curling friends from Scotland for the past couple of years, and we're very happy they're able to travel again. And the Scottish team really battling out there. The US just staying slightly on top of this game for me, but the Scots really battling hard.
Line's good.
Super end there in the 6th, stealing 1. And setting us up for a grand finale. Although what we don't want is an extra end. We're a little bit behind schedule already, just because there were a couple of close games on the 8 o'clock draw this morning. But if scores are tied after 8 ends, and with a close game like this, there's every chance, isn't there? Then we will play an extra end, but I fancy the other games may go ahead and start.
Line's good. Angus is.
Very busy day today. We have 5 draws today.
Tight! Angus is, yep. Tight line.
No, we have 6 draws today even.
Hard!
So the ice crew not getting much sleep this weekend.
Over curling. Never throw.
And we're watching sheet 2 all weekend. The static cam is watching sheets 3 and 4 all weekend. So you need both of your screens. You need your laptop and your iPad to keep an eye on everything. Or if you're more local, come to the club and watch. We weren't really able to have visitors the past couple of years. It was very much just the volunteers and those of us involved with the competition, and we encouraged everyone to watch the live stream instead, just to try to keep the athletes as safe as possible from getting infected with COVID. But this year, yeah, the club's quite busy already. I think somebody forgot to order the nice weather. Normally it's a nice late summer's weekend here in Baden in Switzerland. But it looks like we forgot to speak to the tourist office to order the sunshine, and it's a little bit rainy this weekend. So what could be more fun than sitting in the club watching highest level curling? So if you're in Switzerland, or even somewhere else closer, like if you're in France or Germany, come to the club and watch.
Unless you want to rip the double.
Really tight start from both teams.
We're pretty close to even.
Otherwise, they come right here next. If we don't make that.
I think you almost have to hit the side of the ring. Just like if we make the double peel, they freeze.
That maybe looked a little bit of a strange idea. If you're learning curling tactics, you would say to yourself, why does the US want to go towards the centre, or why does Scotland want to guard the US stones there? But Scotland, not too worried about those US stones right now. Let's think about our objectives for this end. We're in the 7th end, it's second to last end. And
Just clean.
What are our objectives here?
Clean. Close.
It's
Curl.
the first time this weekend that we're going to
Curl.
bust out
Hard
one of our
Tom.
favourite tactical discussions,
Hard
which
Tom.
is,
Hard Tom.
would you rather be
Okay, that's fine.
1 point ahead without last stone, or 1 point behind with last stone going into the 8th end? It is the US who have last stone in the 7th end. And I fancy Scotland's objective will be to do exactly that. US has the advantage of the last stone, therefore if Scotland can only force the US to take only 1 point, then it will be Scotland who has last stone and 1 point behind in the 8th end. So that's what Scotland will be trying to do, and the US, they will be trying to do exactly not that. So the US realise that it looks like Scotland are trying to force the issue here, and what the US don't want to do is only score 1 point. They would really rather get a nice solid 2 points on the board, and that miss there from Scotland has given them a big opportunity to do that.
I think it'll be close.
They'd rather not be only plus 1 point without last stone in the last end. If they're going to score anyway, they'd rather really go for it and really try and score 2.
Yep, hard. Hard, Andrew.
Perfect for the US would be a blank end,
Andrew.
but there's
Hold it right
an
there,
awful lot
buddy.
of work
Come
to
on,
do
you
to
got a
blank
good
this.
one. Hard, Andrew.
Therefore, if they're
Keep
going
going,
to score
keep going, keep
anyway,
going.
they're going to work really hard and try to get 2 points instead. That's got a nice bit of separation. You don't really want all your stones together because that makes more of a target for Scotland. We have a result next door on sheet 3. That's a real solid win for Team Walstad from Norway over Team Totzek from Germany. Team Totzek, they've been around a while now. They've been performing well in the WCT competitions. So really nice, strong start from Walstad. They pick up that first win, 7 points to 3 against Totzek of Germany. And that means there's only one more game out there. And Team Andrew Schnider, my gosh, they've come to play. They mean business out there, and they are holding the Olympic champions 5 points to 3.
That you try and make a triple off those. Like almost.
Important stuff going on in our featured game here. As we said, doesn't look like a blank. I think there are too many stones in play. So I don't think the US are going to get their wish to blank this end, and then scores would be level and they would have last stone. That doesn't look like it's happening. Therefore, what are Scotland trying to do? They want to try to force the US to score only 1 point, because then Scotland would be -1, but with last stone in the 8th end. So that's what all the discussion's about. Not difficult for these big boys to remove a few of these reds, but all the discussion is about where do we want our yellow to finish to give ourselves the best chance of forcing the US only to 1. The US, of course, don't want to be forced to score 1. And gosh, this is a pile driver coming. That certainly mixed things up a bit. And got a nice little roll in behind those guards out front there. So really nice stuff from Mark Watt there. He's a bit like a one-man army out there today. And you can see both of those reds to the left and the right of the centre line now, both of those wide open. As we said, Scotland don't mind if the US scores 1, and that would be the one right on the pin, the one really close to the middle. But both of those red stones either side, thanks to that super throw from Mark Watt, both of those wide open now.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Line's nice. Always cooch. Line's good. Top 8, boys.
Little room. Curl.
Go ahead. Hard, guys.
Hard, guys.
What are the US trying to do? Remember, they don't want to score only 1. Someone's going to score here. Therefore, they're working really hard to try to make it 2. A cushion of 2 points going into the last end is much different to a cushion of 1 point.
Okay.
There we go, thick like that. It's not horrendous.
Okay.
Third.
Yeah.
Another huge throw from Mark Watt coming. He's going for the double. It's quite thin. He's not far off. He's got it. What a shot from Mark Watt. Gosh, his confidence will be sky high after this game. He's pulling off everything, Mark Watt. This is great stuff. And what a difference those 2 throws from Mark Watt have made. Really split apart all those reds. And a fantastic double takeout. And if you're the US, remember, you really want to try to score 2 points here. Where is your second point coming from now? I think they're going to punch that red forward on the anti-clockwise handle.
Hard cooch. Hard cooch.
Andrew Stopera having to follow.
Clean.
Great shot from Mark Watt. This has to be a lot more dainty.
Hard, boys.
His line's not bad, but I'm not sure it's got the bean to bump it very far, does it? It doesn't. That's a mistake from the US.
Sorry, guys.
He'll be disappointed with that one. Andrew Stopera, he had loads of space as well. Even if that had ended up behind T, it wasn't a terrible idea. But it's maybe still there for another go. He's the angle's not quite so forgiving either. Yeah, big opportunity here for Scotland to put some pressure.
Half does stuff in that, but if you're any thinner, you're struggling to kill this.
Scotland may now be asking themselves, do we really want to steal this end? Do we want to score one? And then we would be +1, but without last stone going into the 8th end. But that would be 2 steals in a row. And they would surely feel fairly good about controlling that 8th end as well. Let's see. You'll see sometimes the Canadian teams, gosh, they can think and talk themselves around in circles and sort of deliberately tapping in their opposition's stone or removing their own stones and things like that so that they make sure they've got last stone. It is 50-50. Whether you win a game from -1 point, but you do have last stone, versus +1 point and you don't have last stone. It is 50-50, but Canadian people cannot be persuaded of this and will do anything to have last stone. And that's another corker from James Craik. Really nice stuff. Is there a thin double there? That's exactly what they're just indicating. Or do you take another run at those reds out front? No, that angle's not there. There you can see that yellow thrown by Blair Haswell right at the beginning, doing its job. No access, or not full access to those reds. Three stones to come, 2 for the US and Corey Dropkin, 1 more for James Craik, who also now just played a real pistol.
This is probably the best shot here.
I think so. Out or in?
Intern.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's maybe
half rock.
Yeah.
the only shot, really, the only realistic shot for the US. But I think you've only got 1 crack at it as well. Otherwise, they could be struggling to make any points here. But as we said, that a steal of 1 to Scotland, that's okay for the US. They, again, then they would be in the situation of -1, but with last stone.
Close.
First stone for Corey Dropkin in the 7th end.
Yes!
Yes!
Hard!
Sounds fairly happy with it. Oh, very close.
Good throw.
Apart from that.
Scotland still lie 1 then. So do the US now say to themselves, okay, you know what, let's just give Scotland 1. Then they're 1 ahead, but we have last stone. And on the other hand, if you're Scotland,
Either chuck up a guard somewhere or you go back 4. Make it against 2.
Scotland helpfully telling us exactly what needs to happen. Yeah, we either throw up a guard or you go round the back of everything and force them to play against 2.
Throw that or you come back 4, make it against 2. You go back 4 as well. If he throws that, it probably is a steal of 1. If he makes this, we're almost getting the guard and making him play against 2 at the same time.
I'd love to see them force them to play against 2 actually, yeah, if they can get a stone to the back 4 foot there and force Corey Dropkin to play against 2.
Just a bit of a guess.
That's a whole heap of pressure on it. Neither team wants to lose 2 points here.
Also, it's that straight peg for holiday.
If you know this path, then
It's worth the guess.
I think I really like this call. I think even if this shot doesn't quite work out, hard to see how the US are getting 2. I think this is a nice aggressive call. Can put a lot of pressure on the US, and even if it's not perfect,
it'll be like 14-5.
hard to see where the US can pick up 2 points from
Yeah,
this
exactly.
situation.
I think this is worth it.
2 stones to come. 1 for James Craik from Scotland, 1 for Corey Dropkin from the US. The call is to swing right round the back of everything here on the anti-clockwise handle and force Corey Dropkin to play against 2. I really like this nice aggressive call. As we said, the US wouldn't mind actually if Scotland just end up getting 1, but if Scotland are
You got loads of
suddenly
runs
lying
down.
2, that's a whole different pressure for the US.
Where are you? Angus. Always Angus. 14. No.
Constant communication in the Scottish team,
Yep. Oh, well done.
always telling each other where's the weight, where's the line.
Good.
Now, has he made it? Is that 2 yellow?
For a second.
Ooh.
Yeah, for a second.
I don't think it is from my angle. I think that's just overthrown a little bit.
We have that.
They're sitting 1.
This is now a little more dangerous because
The Americans also pretty sure it's just 1.
Back here, it's dangerous, right?
And what do? You could just throw the stone away.
Yeah, for sure.
That means,
Just the one,
you know, just
but-
throw it towards the side, knowing that it does nothing, and just give the Scots 1 there. They're just discussing that.
The high one's, this one's dangerous. Just because if we hit under it here, this guy's not as much.
Yeah, the problem is you don't want to risk giving Scotland 2 now.
Yeah, well, you can go like this, right?
Pretty tough for the US to get 1 point. That's the situation there. And then we can see our sponsors who make this such a good competition. That's why all the big names are here. So a big thank you to our sponsors there.
I think this one's the shot.
The roster always fills up really quickly in Baden here. We always start the season with a bang.
You got hit like right around here.
Yep.
The teams really like to come here. We're very well looked after.
2/3, 3/4, 3/4.
You get to play all the big teams. So decisions made. I think I would probably just be giving Scotland 1 at this point.
Just a scooch more.
I'm not sure what the best outcome is. If this shot goes perfectly, presumably it makes 2. Let's see.
Whoa, whoa,
Whoa. Whoa.
whoa.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes. Hard.
It does not.
1 yellow.
And 1 yellow it is. Another stolen point for Scotland there. Building up to a grand finale.
Time to put together a couple.
Perfektion bedeutet nichts. Nicht, wenn du sie nicht fühlen kannst. Ich denke viel darüber nach, wie ich mich fühle, wenn ich einen Raum betrete. Stell dir vor, du betrittst deine Küche und spürst, dass dieser Ort wie für dich gemacht ist. Vielleicht wegen der klaren Linien oder der echten Materialien. Für mich ist das Perfektion.
Make sure you have
It is the 8th end of
No, you're
round
like
2
55.
here at the Baden Masters. It's the first of the World Curling Tour competitions. We are watching Team James Craik from Scotland playing Team Corey Dropkin from the US. First time in this competition for both of these teams. The Americans, as you see, had a real bright start. They picked up a huge 3 in the first end. And I think if Scotland end up losing this game, I think they will really regret that first end, because Scotland have been battling ever so hard since then to get themselves back into this game. And oh boy, have they. So Scotland now lead 6 points to 5 in this 8th end. But it is Tom Howell's team, the Americans, who have all important last stone. So we will see a pretty classic setup.
Halfway.
Line's nice.
The Americans need at least 1 to keep the game going, and ideally 2 to win the game in this end.
Okay, good timing.
And Scotland are trying to stop that now. Scotland have just stolen the past 2 ends, the 7th and the 6th end. Same again, please.
Good.
2 games are already finished. We had 2 strong wins on sheet 1. Big win for Ross Whyte's team from Scotland over young team Jermann from Switzerland, 11 points to 1. And really strong win for team Walstad from Norway over team Totzeg from Germany. They defeated them 7 points to 3. And on the edge of our screen there, you will see some familiar feet going backwards and forwards. That's the Olympic champions, Nicholas Edin's team. But
Line's good.
they are not having it all their own way. Team Andrew Schnider,
Line's good. Cooch.
such a promising young
Straight.
team.
Hard,
Andrew
buddy.
Schnider's team, they have been knocking
Hard
on the
line.
door of greatness for quite a
Line's
while
nice.
now.
Gotta go for weight.
Not
Line's
at all
nice.
afraid of the Olympic champions. They
Curl a
are
little
6
bit.
points to 3 ahead
Curl. Curl.
in
Curl.
this final end. They don't have last stone.
Good, 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 good.
So let's see what the Olympic champions are made of.
Quite a bit, looks like.
But what a game from Team Schnider. Doing everything they can to get the scalp of the gold medalists. And meanwhile, we're having a pretty nice setup in this 8th end.
Wait, fine.
Angus Bryce is taking
Hard, Dad.
maybe a little bit longer to settle into his game
Fine, good.
this morning. He had a bit of bad luck with a pickup as well, but this is looking nicer.
Hard. Gotta go. Hard, hard, hard,
Line looks
hard.
really nice.
Keep
It's
going.
just catching that curl now. A little bit shorter than they wanted. I think they wanted that buried in behind, but it was no use too long. The tolerance for that shot was definitely
As long as
shorter
we're okay
before
with them coming
longer.
on top of us.
You could. You could.
And kind of a worst case for Scotland is
The
The
they
other
can lose the
option
game
is
in this
going
end,
other
but
wing.
if they set it up well, worst case for Scotland should be an extra end where they would have last stone. If scores are level, so if the US score 1, we will play an extra
Go ahead,
end,
Tom.
Gotta go.
which will be terribly unpopular because we're a little
Tight
bit behind
end.
schedule
Hard
already.
Tom. Keep
And
going.
we have Team Bruce Mouat
Keep going.
and
Make
Team
something of it.
Yannick Schwaller, the new
Come
Swiss
on.
lineup, champing at the bit to go into sheet 2 after this game. But I'm sure Bruce Mouat's team will be cheering for their Scottish colleagues and won't mind having to wait a little bit. So coming up short there again for the US. Nobody quite finding their weight to really put pressure
I
on.
ain't got time.
I was only near 14.5. Low 14.
Hard line.
Final throw
Try go.
of regulation time for Angus Bryce.
Hard line.
Top, top.
Oh, oh,
And he's underthrown that again. Again, it was no use long, but doesn't help them too much.
Andrew in. Yep. Clean. Clean. Yep. Whoa. Close. Whoa then. Whoa then. Right off. 13-3.
Well, this is better from the US, but it is going to go behind tee. Huge curl. But just running on a bit of a let off for Scotland, so that line still open to them.
4. Yeah. 14 should be close.
Same tactics for Scotland here in this 8th end. There you can see they stole a point at the 6th and the 7th ends, and Mark Watt's been having a super game.
Line's good. Clean.
So 2 more peachy shots from Mark Watt, please.
Perfect.
Clean, yep. Oh,
Where?
clean, yep.
Hard.
Yes, you want to hold the line here, lads.
Hard.
Oh, that's curling, that's curling.
Go, go, go. Hard, 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 hard. Keep going.
And keep it moving.
Go, go, go. Hard.
And that is another excellent shot from Mark Watt. Really nice stuff from him today. And what a difference that one shot makes, like just biting that top of the 4-foot. A great sweep from the boys there. That was really starting to curl. And then once it's safely past the guard, let's really try and catch that curl, keep it moving. Curl as far as it can, and
Roll it a little bit.
what a difference that makes, because now if you're the US, you've got a bit of work to do to get 1 point, never mind 2. The US needing 1 point just to take this to an extra end.
That was the first thought, yeah.
I do race just
Just like in between the both of them.
here.
Yeah, I think Scotland are pretty nicely set up here.
Just a ball here. I know you're probably right, actually.
If you just
I'm gonna have the hack.
plop a guard right where James Craik had his brush, you are really putting pressure on the US. The US needing 1 point to keep this game going.
I did.
Line's good.
Final throw in the 8th end for
Nice
Mark
fight.
Watt.
Easy.
Whoa, whoa,
I think if Scotland end up winning this game, Mark Watt's been the MVP for me.
Straight line, curling, go. You gotta move this a mile. Both feet hard. Hard.
Hard.
No going this.
Hard.
Hard, 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 hard.
James
Keep
Craik
going.
standing
Go, go,
exactly
go,
where they
go.
wanted
Hard.
to finish. Oop. Angus Bryce doing such a big sweep that he drops one knee. You can see what a difference it makes. These really strong boys. It's quite a different game at this level compared to at the club.
That rock doesn't do anything.
Straight peel.
The sweepings
We might be able to make it through the hole.
really quite
like
a
that
lot
rock
stronger
didn't
here at
do
the highest
anything.
level. But yeah, that's found a nice spot there, I think, from Mark Watt. Although the Americans looking... Is there a gap there to squeak through?
Yeah.
If there is, you've got one crack at it, boys.
My original gut was thinking this.
I think the US has to clear a bit of space here.
Okay.
At the moment, they're losing the game, and I'm wondering if it would be better to open up, say, the clockwise handle.
10-5, is that enough?
There could be a double on
You like 10-5 or 9-5?
that yellow guard touching the centre line and the
Somewhere in
red.
there.
If you could
Okay,
move
give me
everything
nine.
and
Nine,
just
nine,
open up
five.
that clockwise
9-5.
handle. Because I think if you
Turn.
ever miss this
Nine,
one,
little
then
more
Scotland
now.
are going to close that gap.
Tiny bit more ice.
Okay. Clean. Yep.
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 Hard.
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 Big shot from
Hard.
Andrew Stopera
Whoa.
coming.
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa. Whoa.
And there is a gap.
Bad.
And he's got it perfectly. So fortune again favouring the Brave here. A gutsy call from the US. If he had missed that, it was just about game over.
Oh.
Not bad, buddy.
And he's just mixed up that angle. Let's look at that, just sneaking through that little port again.
I was like, we're through, sweep for the roll. We probably weren't through.
Here it comes. See how he had to be so accurate with that. You could see it. If it's round that yellow, it was still so close to that outside red.
Yeah, we still might be dead.
So yeah, potentially a game-changing shot there from the US. And now it's Scotland who are facing a difficult situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Skip stones in the 8th end here. If scores are tied, we will play an extra. Which really nobody else wants, because we're a bit behind schedule and we've got 6 games today. So all the other teams don't really mind who wins, as long as somebody does.
So much of. Whoa. Whoa. Line's good.
Whoa. Go. Clean.
No.
Clean.
Clear.
James Craik
Hard.
aiming for behind these
Hard.
2 guards here, and presumably just landing up on the forefoot. This looks nice. This looks nice. That was the danger of the US not clearing the front. Not to take away from a lovely shot from Andrew Stopera, but that was the danger. Now all those guards are still there, and difficult for the US to really do anything about this now. Yeah, that's a good view. You can see all those guards still out front. James Craik just sinking one into the forefoot. And another huge shot from the boys out there. That was drawing against 3 US stones, and he's planted it perfectly. Yeah, and now the US tries to clear some space. And let's see, is it going to be too little too late? Can Scotland lock the door with their final stone? It's been a really tight game for us viewers, which we love. That bodes well for the rest of the weekend. First stone for US skip Corey Dropkin.
Hard.
Trying to clear himself a bit of space, make sure he's actually got a chance with his last stone.
Fight. Fight.
Good.
Well, he's certainly made it better. Still a whole bunch of granite on the clockwise handle. Not many options there.
Unlucky.
Where is my ice from? Like, the statement takes a little. I like the 6.
And well, Scotland just discussing what to do with their last stone here.
just in front
I
of
can
it.
tell you we're on
If you are
the
short,
last
it's
stone
not
over on
terrible.
sheet 4. And we're going to need a bit of magic from the Olympic champions. Little Andrew Schnider's team having great courage from the beginning. They've put the pressure on the Olympic champions the whole way and poised for an historic win over the gold medalists. But 2 stones still to come in our game as well. James Craik from Scotland.
Yeah,
That's perfect. Easy.
That's perfect, he says.
Curl.
He likes the line very much.
Angus.
Switch and go.
The sweeper's really working it hard.
Where are you?
Curl.
Hard
Leave
curl.
it long.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Curl, 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 curl.
Stop, 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 they say. It does.
I think that's good.
So if you're the US, what do you do from here? You have a couple of options.
Might be. Close.
You guys think it's there through the middle?
You could simply try to outdraw, but actually, oh no, that red near the hog line there, I hadn't noticed that one before. Okay, that doesn't work. I think they're then saying, what if we were curling away from the centre line? Yeah, if you
Yeah, I think so.
have ice just next to Corey Dropkin's brush there. Yep, curling away from the centre line. And just try to pick that yellow. This is a shot for 2 points. So this is a shot to win the game.
Does that look pretty natural there?
Golly, it doesn't look very nice from where we are, does it? It looks very tough. And I do think the Americans made a mistake actually with Andrew Stopera's shots. I think they made a mistake not clearing a bit more space for themselves.
I think that ice is pretty good.
Okay.
And they are now facing a real tough shot. Last stone of our featured game for Corey Dropkin. Can he thread this needle?
Clean.
Clean.
Clean. Yep.
Clean. Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Hard.
Hard.
Hard, Tom.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's curled right off. That's not even round that first card. And it is a win for Scotland.
Game.
Super stuff from James Craik's team. Lost a big 3 in the first end, but really pulled themselves together, really started landing a lot of shots, and what a fight back. They really kept that pressure on. A real fighting win there for James Craik's team. They'll be delighted with that. A lot of good stuff from Corey Dropkin's team. I hope that doesn't knock their confidence. Definitely in the beginning and towards the middle of the game, they were
Didn't look like that.
probably looking a bit the stronger team for me.
It was curved.
But Scotland really hung tough there. And yeah, definitely Mark Watt, the MVP for me. He landed an awful lot of good stuff there. So great game for us viewers to watch, our first one. Lovely strong win for James Craik's team. They'll be happy. Full marks for Scotland this round. Ross Whyte's team also winning over in sheet 1. And what you'll see now, this is the last shot draw for their next round. And their next round, let me just check, is at 4 o'clock today, 4 o'clock European. And the team's doing last stone draw for their next game. So this nothing to do with the game we just watched. That game there, you can see this final score. Really strong fight back from Team Craik. And they finally overcome Team Dropkin from the US, 7 points to 5. And I can also tell you there's another couple of teams doing their last shot draw over in sheet 4. And what a win for Team Andrew Schnider. They just set off out the blocks this morning. They were determined to play their best curling against the Olympic champions. They have. And that must be one of the biggest wins of their career. So congratulations to really gutsy performance from Team Andrew Schnider. They did not falter at the end. They kept the pressure on. Never took their foot off the necks of the Olympic champions. So what an exciting morning we've already had. 2 rounds in. Both the Olympic medalists have lost their first round game. We will be back for one of those Olympic medalists. It's Team Mouat. They will be back on sheet 2 once we've cleaned the ice. So it may be, it won't be in 2 minutes' time. But join us again. We will be watching silver medalist Team Mouat, and they will be playing the new Swiss super team headed up by Yannick Schwaller. Join us again soon.